Hi everyone, it's your boy Ricky here with Bromero Cards, and today it's going to be a different video than normal. I'll go back and forth through the video and we'll discuss what I'm doing, but this is a video about mental health awareness, and May is Mental Health Awareness. I'm a part of a YouTube and Instagram hop of where a bunch of creators are coming together and talking about awareness of mental health. So I do want to tell you that during this video, I will be talking about some personal experiences with mental health that do involve some type of talk about depression or anxiety or like mental health issues such as suicide and things like that. So if it's something that you do not want to listen to, or that you may feel triggered by it, this may not be the video for you. I will have the card over on Instagram if you're really interested in what the card looks like, and you can head on over there and get that, because I'll just be posting the card along with some information about Mental Health Month. So to get started here, I am using a stamp set from Ink on 3, and I'm going to do some Copic coloring. I now realize that after going back and watching this video that my marker colors are not in the frame. I'm very sorry about that. They tend to show up sometimes and then sometimes not. So Mental Health Month, it's in May. It's something that a lot of people deal with silently. And it's a shame that we as people have to deal with it as if it's a silent shame, because it's really not. Mental health has been an issue for a really long time, and for the longest time it was, kept under a lid. You never talked about it. If you did talk about it, you were sent to a home, or whatever the case may be. But as we evolve as people, we realize, wow, mental health is really important. So, I just wanted to talk about how, I struggled with mental health when I was younger. Not so much now as I used to, because I've learned how to cope with it, which I'm very fortunate, because some people don't have that ability. Not because they don't want to, just because it's not an option for them. But I just want to start out my story saying that my first experience with mental health issues was with my father, who was an alcoholic. But also I learned in my late teenage years, or my early teenage years, that he was actually also like manic depressive. So it really explained his attitudes as I experienced them when I was younger, where he would be like super hyped up and fun, and then he would get super depressed. And so I lived with that most of my life. And then as I got a little older, he started taking medication for it, and it kind of calmed down, and things kind of seemed okay. I did live through that experience of him being an alcoholic and him suffering from this mental illness. And so that was a lot of exposure to being a young person. So, what I'm about to talk about, I would not have been able to talk about 7 to 8 years ago. So I don't want you to think that I'm kind of blasé about it. It's not that. It's just that it happened a really long time ago, and I've come to terms with what has happened, and I've went through a lot of counseling to get to this point. So please don't think that what I'm about to talk about I take lightly, because I don't. So when I was 20, my dad died of a self-inflicted gunshot to the head. Also suicide. I have to say that it is and will be the most devastating thing to probably ever happen in my life. It's probably the most hurtful thing that's ever happened to me, and probably the most damaging that's ever happened to me. I thought that I was just mourning for 3 or 4 or 5 years after his death. And I thought it was the normal process of just being alone, crying, dealing with it, working, coming home, dealing with it. I didn't know that I was depressed or anxious. I just thought it was a normal feeling because I'd never had anyone die close to me. And at that, suddenly. So, I suffered with depression and anxiety for 4 to 5 years after my father's death, only because I didn't know what to do or didn't know what to say. And, I didn't have a grieving part of my life because I had to help take care of a family and deal with things at an age that I wasn't ready for. And so I had to grow up really fast, and I never really got to talk about or share my feelings with people. And I tried to be the strong person for everyone. And I did that for a very long time until it exploded. And I had this moment where I just felt like my body was not working anymore. Like it just could not live. And basically I had a severe anxiety attack, and that's when it all boiled to the top that this was an issue. So I started seeking counseling. Back then I was afraid to do that because I didn't want people to feel that I was, quotation marks, crazy, and that I didn't know how to control my life because, that's kind of like how it's looked at. Maybe not so much now, maybe still, but not as much. But I went through a lot of counseling for this depression, anxiety. I had this constant fear of everyone in my life dying and just leaving and not being able to speak to them again. And that I lived in fear for a long time with that. So anytime something negative happened in a relationship or a friendship, I automatically went there and I got super upset all the time. I was crying a lot. So I went with counseling, and I was taking medications, and things seemed better. So once I kind of got my life in order, I decided I wanted to move to Florida to try to get a new start and try to, just change maybe would help me. So, but little did I know that it doesn't matter where you go or what you put your life in or your new life that you want to have, you still have this possibility of this kind of chasing you or coming with you. And it did. It went to Florida with me. I tried to ignore it. It bubbled up again. I had this whole anxiety attack. I had to do all of these counseling things again. But what I discovered was what truly helped me instead of one-on-one counseling. I found that cognitive therapy with a group setting helped my situation a lot more. Because while I was super depressed about my dad dying, the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I don't want this to sound like I'm happy because I'm not, but being in a group setting and hearing other people's issues and how mine was like a drop in a bucket compared to some individuals and their lives. And it took me hearing that to understand life is not over. Life will continue. With counseling, I learned to forgive my dad for all the pain, not just me, because, there were hundreds of people that were affected by this. And I was able to realize that he had a mental illness. It was not something that he could control. And unfortunately, the illness got to him just as cancer would, or leukemia, or anything like that. It's an illness just like those. And so now to this day, I can look, even though it's a very negative and hurtful situation, and it still hurts, I'm able to say that I am where I am because of him. And if he wouldn't have passed away, I don't know what would have happened. I would have never met my friends and family in Florida. I would have never moved to Chicago. I would have never finished graduate school, undergraduate. I would have never started making cards or doing this art. So, you know, while this was a very hurtful and negative thing in my life, through counseling, I was able to turn this around and make it into a positive. And so I can say thank you to him and not feel gross about it, because, you know, I don't want to say thank you for dying, because that's not really how I feel, because if I could have him back, I would have him back in a heartbeat. But what I just wanted to say is, you know, towards the end of this video is, don't be ashamed. Talk about your problems. Let someone know. You're definitely not alone in this situation. It happens way more than you'll ever think. A lot of people don't talk about it, and you may be able to find a person that you could talk to about it that may have a similar experience or have had a similar experience, and then maybe that will be your jump start into getting healthier and being able to think positively. So I encourage you, if you have the option, you know, talk to your doctor, talk to someone that can help you find the right way. It's not always easy, but you can do it. If I can do it, I have faith in that you can do it. So I want to thank you guys very much for listening and supporting this video. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. You know, there won't be a lot of videos like this, but it is important that we have them. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Make sure that you follow along on the video hop, and then head over to Instagram and check out everybody's creations there. It would be greatly appreciated. You guys have a great day. Have a great week. You're not alone. You can do it. I will talk with you later. Have a great day. Bye.